Sometimes I hear from our community, they even use Minio in production, and they hear about it, which tell me, you should go check out Minio. It sounds very close to Minio. And only then they realize that both are same projects. It doesn't matter as long as you know you recognize the bird, it's OK. And Minio name comes from minimalist object storage. Even as Minio, it's still IO stands for storage, right? So I guess it's OK. So the idea of minimalism comes from building very large systems. If you want faster processor, what we did, we went from 1 gigahertz, 2 gigahertz, we hit 5 gigahertz. At 6 gigahertz, we saw that it was hitting on the limits of the physics. Then we went back to 1.2 and 2 gigahertz, and we went multi-core, right? So we started with the disk ATA, and then parallel ATA should be faster, right? And then we went back to serial ATA. And then when we want to build scalable applications, we start with like massively scalable, like monolithic systems, and then we went with large distributed namespaces, and then we went to microservices, right? So Minio gets its design inspiration from our previous experiences. I previously built Gluster, Red Hat Gluster, which is a distributed file system. We used to build very large systems. And often I saw users were actually deploying in smaller systems because for operational reasons, when you build smaller systems and deploy many of them, it's much easier to manage. So Minio takes its ideas from how microservices applications are built. Minio is a micro-storage architecture. So the bird basically signifies that it's simple and beautiful, and that's what Minio is about. So it's all written in Go, and you can literally go get the server, and it runs fine pretty much on any environment, whether it is a Raspberry Pi or a high-end Linux box with plenty of memory. We see users often deploy on DigitalOcean, Packet.net, like a bunch of these hosting providers, or sometimes on their own machine. Runs on Linux, OS X, FreeBSD, pretty much where Go runs, right? We just download the binary and type Minio server start. Basically, Minio server, and you give a directory name. Think of it like an FTP server, right? You just start the server, and the directory now is presented as an Amazon S3 compatible object storage. You pretty much have your own cloud storage on your laptop. Like if you now, say you bought yourself a box with multiple drives. It could be just virtual drives attached to a machine or a container, or it's just a single box, a Supermicro box or a Dell Cisco box that has 12 drives, 16 drives. You run Minio on it, and each drive, you don't need any JBOD, nothing, right? You just mount those drives and start Minio, pointing all those drives. It behaves like a ZFS of object storage. It combines all these drives into a single namespace. It has its own integrated erasure code, and they are hardware optimized. It even has Blake 2 hashing, which is faster than SHA and MD5 sum. We actually ported them. We actually wrote a native Plan 9 assembly-based hashing, so you can do bit rot detection. As the drives get old, they develop corruption inside, and they appear to be OK. So when it detects these silent corruption, Minio can actually recover from it. You can lose half of the drives, and still your data is fine. You just deploy and then keep running until the machine goes obsolete. Right? The Blake hashing, in fact, to port that, our engineer wrote like a regular Intel assembly to Plan 9 assembly converter tool. All of the source code is Apache licenses. It's always open source. In fact, I like to call it free software. Right? So with all that like complexity inside, from an end user point of view, it's as simple as running a Node.js or a web server. You just run it along the side of your applications, and you got yourself a distributed cloud storage. You simply run many Minio instances, one per tenant, one per application instance. Now you have thousands of deployments, and now your scalability is a matter of provisioning, not about managing like very large namespace. Here is a simple example. Minio also comes with its own SDK. You can use standard AWS SDK to talk to Minio server, but we didn't like how the SDK was written. Like even the Golang library has all these unnecessary pointers. So we wanted something simple and lightweight. So we wrote the SDK as if there was no Minio server. So Minio has SDK in various languages like Python, Go, Java, a bunch of these languages. And just give your access key, secret key, and server, and pretty much it talks to if you use Minio Go or AWS SDK, you can talk to AWS or Google Cloud Storage or Minio. It even has a command line tool that replaces Unix core utils. You can now move data between the Google Cloud, all these servers. It even has an integrated web UI like Amazon S3 console. This one actually uses Facebook React client-side JavaScript framework, but all of them are stubbed into the Go binary, Go bin data. Just when you download the Go binary, the binary of the Minio server, it has all these things built in, compiled in. We started about 18 months before. We have now around 50 committers across the world, and the community is growing pretty well. We are getting some serious contributions. In fact, now I'm hearing, like some of these guys, they hear about Amazon S3 after they learn about Minio. They're like, what is S3 compatible? And then they go learn about S3. So it's pretty much, that is it. Questions? Thank you.